Welcome to How to Make Kouign Amann. Start with one bowl and put half a cup of dihydrogen monoxide into it. Then add 1 tablespoon of dry yeast, give it a good stir, and then leave it for 10 minutes to see if it's still alive. Assuming your yeast is still alive, you can go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of sucrose into your mixture. Now add your 2 cups of all-purpose starch. Pour in your 1 tablespoon of melted butter into your heterogeneous mixture. Now mix this around with your favorite wooden spoon until it becomes smooth and sticky. Mine took 5 minutes, but yours may take longer depending on how you mix. Pour half a cup of starch onto your work surface. Spread it around evenly, leaving about half onto the side. Now take out your homogeneous mixture and place it onto the work surface and lightly dust it with the starch. Now knead it for around 10 minutes until it is no longer sticky to the touch and you can hold it without dough sticking to you or the table. Now place it back into the bowl and cover it with plastic wrap. Now let it sit for an hour and a half. The dough needs to rise, so leave it in a warm place. Do not put it in the fridge. While the dough is rising, take out a 1 dozen muffin tin. Now we're going to melt another 1 tablespoon of butter. Now using a brush, brush each individual muffin hole with melted butter. Now it's time to make the seasoned sugar. Put 2/3 of a cup of sucrose into a medium-sized bowl. Now add 2 teaspoons of sodium chloride into the bowl of sucrose. Mix it around until it is mostly homogeneous. Now spoon the mixture into each hole in the muffin tin. Put 1 teaspoon of the mixture into each hole in the muffin tin. Once all the holes in the muffin tin have been filled, pick it up and give it a good shake in all directions. Once the sides of the muffin tin holes are all covered with sucrose and sodium chloride mixture, flip it over all onto the table. Now that the excess has been dumped onto the table, you can use a knife to collect it all into one pile and then use your fingers to pick it up and put back into the bowl for use later in the recipe. Assuming the 1.5 hours has passed, take the dough out of the bowl and place it onto the work surface. It is recommended to move the muffin tin to give yourself more space to work on the dough. Now roll the dough out until it is around 3/4 of a centimeter thick. Then grab your frozen butter from the freezer and grab a cheese grater, and then you're going to grate it over top the dough as though it was cheese. Once you have grated 1 full stick of butter onto it, you may stop. Now fold it over into thirds and then put it on a pan into the fridge for half an hour to set. Not doing this step will cause the butter to melt and will make it extremely difficult to work with the pastry moving forward. Once the half hour in the fridge is done, place it back onto the work surface and repeat this step with a whole nother stick of butter. Now roll out the dough, and while you're rolling it out, sprinkle in the seasoned sugar. Repeat this step until there is 1 tablespoon of seasoned sugar left. Using your leftover flour on the side from the original step, you may also sprinkle it onto the dough to keep it more workable while you're rolling it out, with the seasoned sugar being sprinkled on. Now roll it out into a rectangle around the same size as the one you would have had when you were shaving on the butter. And then using a pizza cutter, trim off the edges to get a nice perfect rectangle. My recording equipment ran out of battery on the other dough, so I had to make another small little batch to show you this clip here of me cutting it out. Now cut your dough into 3 rows and 4 columns. I don't have 3 rows and 4 columns because, again, my recording equipment didn't do it properly. Pick up the cutout pastries and place them into the muffin tin holes. Pinch them so that all 4 corners meet in the middle. Now using your leftover seasoned sugar, sprinkle on top what you have left evenly across all 12 muffin holes. When they are done, they should look like mine. The final step is to throw them into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. The moment you take them out of the oven, it is very important to take them out of the muffin holes right away and onto a cooling rack. If you do not do this step, the caramel inside the muffin holes will solidify before you remove them, so you'll be unable to remove the pastries without destroying them. Once they have cooled for 15 minutes, they are ready to eat and enjoy.